It is, yeah, a challenge at this point, should we say, Tim? Here we go. Last attacking round coming out then for Virtus.pro. W7M are looking to get this one in the bag, maintain that strong defender lean that we've seen throughout the tournament, especially for a team that wants to make a strong statement on this map. Yes, it's Virtus.pro's map pit, but as you said, Tim, in the pre-game, what are you doing taking them onto this map? Because W7M have been known for the longest time to be a sublime clubhouse team. So far looking so good, but not quite out of the woods yet.
No, not at all. I mean, I do wonder about that second half and just exactly how it's going to look when W7M can kind of dictate the pace. They can go in there, they can be aggressive, they can really take the fight to Virtus.pro a little bit more. It's a little bit tricky on defense to do that because you kind of got to wait for the attackers to present themselves to you. And Pasha is going to present himself wrapped up with a bow on to KZ as he finds himself an opener.
Be serious, man.
It's just,
come on.
It's horrible, Des, it's horrible.
It happens to you in ranked and you're raging. I wouldn't be surprised if
it's just not fair.
The same. It's horrible. I mean, literally, again, we're seeing a big heavy roam coming out across the top floor from W7M. But the one thing I've clocked here, Tim, on the screens being seen in front of us, is that actually the castle, JB92 is the one playing inside the dirt and saying, no, you can't rush it. I'll give my team more than enough time if that's the play that you go for. Half the round's gone by. Virtus.pro are still trying to crack this top floor. But W7M are almost refusing to find themselves falling back. They managed to get one for free. They hold on to Cash and CC. It's not going to go the same way as last time. That's what they're screaming into the other team's faces.
Philippox is on the flank here. If he doesn't get picked up, it could be dangerous, but they do know. Shepard, Joystick, they managed to chain a couple of together, and all of a sudden, it's exactly the same as the last round. It looks like W7M are on top, but Virtus.pro dig their heels in and say, absolutely not. We're going to get a couple of kills. We're going to start swinging this one. They've got the mid-floor control now. They can start on the hatches. Des, they've got plenty of time. JV92 and Nade have been forced back into side. Virtus.pro need to just take a breath here, or they just need to shoot them through the floor.
Oh, that works too, I suppose. Yeah, that's also we'll take that. A 1-for-1 in the round on a spray through some soft surfacing. Score us down to a 3 versus 1. VP got 40 seconds to play. But Tim, I'd count any W7M player in a 1vx and you'd still give them odds of walking away the winner.
You really would. You know that they've got it in the locker. And right now, JV sees one, but he can't find his shot. He goes for the one, and just before the flash, he manages to hit the head of Dan. He's fighting with blue, and that's where both of the attackers are. Shepard, he locks it out, and that's going to be a 3-3 half for Virtus.pro. And Des, it's official. We've got a game on our hands.
Okay. They're not falling back through construction in towards gym and bedroom. What have we got to do now? Stick 2 players watching on the downstairs and protect bar, essentially. And that's where they found those 2 mid-round kills. So just a small comment there again around Virtus.pro's adaptability in rounds where it's maybe been lacking at previous points. They came out very, very strong in that round. But as said, the sides have now switched, and it's W7M's turn to show what they've been cooking for the attack of Clubhouse.
Yeah, 30 seconds into the round, you can see W7M already getting themselves established into the map. I suggested this would be the case when they got onto the attack. We'd see them trying to dictate the pace, go in there, take ground, and just remove these Virtus.pro players as they go. But Virtus.pro are giving nothing up easily. Always gets spotted out, but still finds his man, picking up a big opener onto Hertz with the headshot. Casey does manage to get Pasha, and now the pressure is mounting for always. Cut down and dealt with, and this is the sort of pace and pressure from W7M that's going to petrify Virtus.pro.
It's really good stuff coming out from Philippox, just playing it by the book. How many times have you seen a player getting absolutely torched by Capital Firebolts on catwalk and being forced into a very, very unfavourable position? It's exactly what comes out towards always. 3 players left on side here. Joysticks on the soul, this is worth noting, can do quite a lot of damage, at least to take away from the info game of W7M. We're halfway into the round and 6 drones have fell so far, but enough are alive to give W7M the knowledge that they can start looking for this basement execute.
Yeah, KZ is going to be just clearmoring off there, and I like this from W7M, and it's a key component of their game, really. They're not getting carried away. Yes, they will move quickly. Yes, they will move with aggression, but they also know the fundamentals that need to be done. They're not going to get hit on the flank. They've got all the utility out to try and avoid that happening. They know they've got time on the clock. There's 1:10 left to go. They are just positioning here. They're posturing. They're getting themselves ready. This is phase 2 of the round. This is softening up sight, getting yourself ready for that final execute.
You got Philippox looking at blue hatch, Case looking in towards blue stairs, a couple of players around kitchen. Got to be so mindful of that C4 if kitchen's where they want to go, stepping in. Got the right sort of idea. I think JV's very, very conscious of it. As looking towards whether they have any EMPs left, and he's got all of them on sides. They could have disabled it out and made a much safer push through. For now, though, they really want this kitchen wall.
Meanwhile, KZ is making a push down blue stairs, and that's great from W7M. Open up those angles, turn Virtus.pro on their heels, make them look multiple ways. But with 30 seconds left to go, Virtus.pro are holding this down pretty well. Joystick's got the lock on KZ in blue. Dan, he's holding down main stairs. He's watching for the drop, but the push comes in from Moto. Nade manages to get himself into sight. KZ with a pick, Shepard with one in return on the trade, but the diffuser is going to start going down. Dan's got to do something. He can do nothing. JB92 finds one. It's all alone for Shepard once again. 1 versus 3. Diffuser down and a mountain to climb, but he takes the first step. He finds one. Can he find 2 more?
It's always poor Shepard stuck in these 1vx's, and sadly, Tim, as clutch as he might be at the best of times, you're not against any old team here. You are against arguably the best team in the world. That will be proven tomorrow if they make it through this game. One hanging inside of Moto, one more sat actually in Moto itself. Comfortable closeout in their first attacking round for W7M. I love the visible disappointment. It's like they've lost everything on the fans' face every time W7M drop a round or a kill.
Honestly, the investment of the fans in, like you say, every kill, every move, every peak, every piece of utility. You know, these fans are just hanging on the edge of their seats.
We're really seeing Virtus.pro play more defensively here. I really love what we're seeing coming out of the other side of W7M. The Monty being brought along in this round. We've seen Monty used to various degrees of effect throughout the competition, I think we can say, Tim. Some teams, no success with it. Other teams, great success. Where I think it really comes in handy is when a team isn't going absolutely nuts on a really wide roam across the entire map. And knowing here that we're seeing a little bit out towards him inventory, but mainly around the site itself, I think matching slow with slow is a great idea.
It's not the point of the mirror window, but I think we've just seen a new record for the least time survived by a mirror window. As soon as it was deployed there, they were already in possession. W7M got it hit, got it taken out. So we haven't seen a successful breach yet. Felipox did remove the exothermic, so it hasn't been lost. There are still 2 in pocket, but W7M not dealing with this main breach overly quickly.
I mean, to be fair, Virtus.pro didn't deal with it at all, Tim. So I think even an attempt may take 2 minutes, feels like an improvement. Joystick starting things out onto Herds, who has been very quiet since we've seen W7M move over onto the attacking side. Not quite seeing the lofty highs that we saw in the first quarter of this game. Nade's got himself moving up. Problem is, Tim, he is going to be pushed back at every angle. A great C4 and a follow-up shot coming on through will put the Monty on sub 50 HP. About 40 at this point. Another C4, a few bullets will be enough to see him dispatched. Just lost 2 impact nades, though, that really could have helped to deal with that shield. Joystick dies with them in pocket, and also some goo mines. Again, a direct counter to that Monty. So that inadvertently by JB92 there could have been a really big pickup for them. 4 versus 4, 58 seconds left, and W7M uncharacteristically just feeling like they're stalling out a little bit. Well, the hack coming in onto hack from the DKB is actually really handy here as well, because no doubt those Evil Eyes, you can see one up there in a pretty good spot as well. Everything to really be shown and revealed here, so Shepard's got to be so careful about the pressure that will now start coming on through. Not too much utility left outside of flashes and smokes to play behind for W7M, but it could be enough. These 2 Titans are going 1 for 1, time and time again. Always does an amazing job to get 1 kill and slow down the push, but W7M continue the brute force. JV, low health, Felipox, low health, even lower as more damage is done, leaving us 2 versus 3. Dan and Pasha trying their best to hold on here, but the pressure keeps mounting as W7 get in, they get it down, but there goes another. Pasha, 1v3 to a 1v2. Can he close this out? Felipox is down. The push is going to come. The shot does not find it. JB2 picks up the kill, and that is an unbelievable finish from W7M. JB92. What the bloody Nora just happened? Woo! I'll tell you what, Tim, it's already hot in the venue, but I'm getting pretty warm up here, it's fair to say. I mean, when you've got like 9,000 people going absolutely bananas at everything that happens in the game, it's no surprise at all. It's going to keep on coming down to that. Now, the Warden. We spoke about this so many times throughout this tournament, Tim, especially on this map. In a spot where he's dug in on red, sat behind a shield. It is a double bedroom site. Look at what's on the other side. W7M have got the Thatcher on side. You time this well. A couple of teams have done it extremely well at this competition. You get the EMP on top of the Warden, disable the gadget, flashes follow through, he is dead. However, there can always be other things to cause a distraction. There can be the rest of the team ready to soak up any attention that Warden's pulling, capitalise on the back of it, net themselves a couple of kills, and things can fall apart very quickly. However, not too many players of Virtus Pro on that side of the map. It is only always in joystick.
Yeah, you see the problem with opening the thermite breach upside down as well there. You just get left with that little sort of vault panel at the bottom, because of course it doesn't go all the way down, it's upside down. So W7M might have something to just try and work around later in the round if they decide to work on Jacuzzi. But for the time being, the majority is looking towards logistics, cash, CCTV, and those windows.
It's a bit tough because we want to go fast here with things like the Blitz on side, but very slow comp coming out of Virtus Pro. The Goyo on side, the C4s, the mute slowdown information. The Warden to try and negate any cheese plays, but it can still happen. Here we go, here comes the juke trade. The lead boxes straight in, finds one for himself, won't be able to do that for very long. Makes it a 2. Could have found himself a third there, almost. I think had a spot to catch out the player that was dropping down a gadget, but a 4v3, W7M in control. Shepard Bulls as well, and the W7M Bulls, they do not stop charging.
The momentum is terrifying right now as they just head on into sight and they rip it apart, piece by piece by piece. KZ with a double at the end to close it out, and W7M, they move on to match point.
Last time round it was Passion and Dan that really won things out for the team. 2K each, one inside of Arsenal, one inside of Church. I expect though W7M will be able to adapt to this. I was speaking to, I want to say it was Fresh a bit earlier on, it may have been someone else. But essentially saying it doesn't matter what you prep against W7M, every single round, every single map they play, even if it's the same map, there's always something new being brought along, so it's so hard to adapt.
I think every team in the world right now knows when you sit down in those 5 seats opposite W7M, you have to bring 100%. Nothing less will do against this Brazilian team right now. We've seen it throughout the year, and they just continue doing it. They continue delivering. Herds, he's going to get himself aggressively into the map. They are attacking onto Church and Arsenal once again. We saw them take ground. I've mentioned already, they don't get carried away. They still cover the flanks. They still put the claymores down. They still do the fundamentals. And you see it from Herds again. Then he gets in, and he's up on a counter in kitchen. He's not going to leave himself, open to that easy nitro.
Why would you? I mentioned about JV's patience. It just always comes down to that again. They're just cautious, but you wouldn't guess it with how sometimes it feels like you've got 10 players coming at you out of every single wall inside the map. Still very reminiscent of the last time we saw this side attacked into. It's quite quick from the side of W7M. Got themselves control that is needed. A couple of hatches opened up, still kitchen closed up for now, but truthfully, Tim, a lot of the action has not revolved around kitchen at all. It's mainly been around that Church triple wall, it's been around Moto, it's been around Blue. Bottom main also having an impact as well, no doubt, but things might be changing here.
Hertz is going to be pushing through now into Moto, just seeing if he could catch somebody out. I think it's not going to be the teeth of the push. He was just hoping for an early pick to start things off. Leapok's going to be holding that bottom of main position, wanting to open the wall. There go the sellers, and that is just going to give those long lines of sight. And I think a little bit of an attempt for some denial comes out, but it will be no good as JV92, he kicks things off with a kill onto Always.
I think before Always went down, he managed to impact them off the wall as well, which is a real stinger. They dropped every salvo there at once, so things now are turning instead towards the exothermics. Joystick finds himself on the deck. 4v3 for W7M.
Yeah, this is not great for Virtus Pro. Lose this one, and they will find themselves a map down and moving on to Chalet. KC, I don't think that they know that he's creeping down Dirt Tunnel here. He's going to have an absolute field day, Des. He's just going to be in there for a freebie. Finds one, leaves us now. Effectively, 1 versus 4. Pasha manages to pick up Nade. He's going to need a lot more than that. 3 more to be precise. Closed down by JV92, and that is W7M taking what would normally be considered their best map in the pool, and Clubhouse is theirs once again.
W7M tried to. Early contesting, falling back, waste time, have layer after layer, the basement around there peeking outside, they have mirror windows on site, everything is just there to waste Virtus Pro's time. So it's just such a big difference between these two teams and how they want to play it. While Virtus Pro is more laid back, sit back and relax.
Yeah, and I think the big difference between these two teams was the attacks, ultimately. Yeah. Obviously, Virtus.pro achieved 3 attacks, which I thought they punished the W7M mistakes really well, punished some of the aggressions and almost lazy flanks that was coming out from W7M when W7M were defending. But as soon as W7M got on their attacks, the big thing for me was their pacing. The fact that they could start out fast, achieve a couple of kills, completely slow it back down, regroup, and then go again. Set up their execute with that man advantage and their decision making. So for an example, when they were attacking that CCTV round, as you mentioned, it did come down to a clutch. But right at the very start of that, Milosh, there was a kill down in the basement. It was Hertz that died. 3 W7M members within 20 seconds were in the basement hunting this guy. And the big bonus of that, they had the Dokkaebi. They took the call, they took the information, and they got the Maestro cams onto site, which ultimately helped them facilitate that round win.
But when you take a look down at the actual preference, i.e. how much these teams actually like to go to this map, it's quite a midfield map for both teams. It's not super strong like a, you must ban this against us or we're going to slam you on it. Virtus.pro really coming into this thing, and you know what? Both teams have got a good chance coming away the winner on this one. W7M, they start on the attack.
And there's the aggression that I was talking about. Hertz just signaling there, we're going to play this quick, you better be ready for us. We know there's no goo mines for us to contest, so how are you going to slow us down? Hertz straight in, looking for that blue stairs cut off. So if anybody tries to go up or down, anybody tries to rotate, he knows there's somebody there, he's heard them, he goes to the kill. He's actually going to take a lot of damage, and Virtus.pro standing up well, it's that early push.
This is what they do, right? They sit and they let you come to them, but when Hertz comes running, there's very little you can do except just fall over and die, it seems. I was going to touch upon the line and the Dokkaebi coming along here. When you see Grim band away throughout this tournament, we have seen the two come forward as a pairing, kind of going back to the old school ways, the Lion and the Dokkaebi. Because Lion and Grim, very similar in terms of operators. You sit yourself at a spot, find yourself moving away, guess what? You're going to get stiffed out and put down pretty darn quickly. Just a very good and aggressive combo coming out when you've got these two operators on side.
JB92 just continuing that work on the top floor. I think W7M happy at this point that they've got the map locked down, but guess what, they don't have the map locked down. Pasha on the Goyo has managed to slip through the net a little bit, I think, up on the top floor, and that could be a really important flank as this round progresses. Hertz, he's trying to use that utility to just push anybody away from blue stairs and move his way down. There's nobody there to challenge him though.
But again, it's about looking at where the rest of the team is here, where they're starting to get themselves set up. In 4 versus 4, you've got enough here to make things work. Yes, it's going to be a little bit risky. I was going to say you can see the 2-man stack coming down from lobby side. Hertz exposed himself a little bit too soon there. It forces JB into action. He gets one back.
There's been some great droning from W7M there. They picked up Pasha on the flank, and as he came through dining, they made a meal of him and they shut him down. And that brings us to 3 versus 3 for Leapox. He's going to be looking at potentially pushing main stairs here. I'm interested to see where this W7M push develops. They're not really going to have multiple angles at the minute. They're just going for brute force, but I think they've just dropped away to that main breach as well.
It's JV on the hatch here that really is going to be protected. For Leapox has got the blue cover. You've got one watching hatch for connection at the same time. This should let the diffuser go down, but it's the retake you've now got to worry about. Dan explodes for, they work their way past JV, and now the retake comes up behind as well. Joystick up through blue, steps across for Leapox, puts him in the dirt. It's 2v2, Tim.
And there is work to be done here for Virtus.pro, and not a lot of time to do it as JB gets 1, he gets 2, closes out the round for W7M, and that is the perfect start for the Brazilian side on Chalet.
That's what you want to play.
Make sure there's no competition. There's no competition. So, round 4 is going to be down to the basement once again. It's going to be wide, always just getting a little bit cheeky out of library double. And I like that, Des. Virtus.pro, we talk about them being slow, methodical, but they're starting to feel that confidence, maybe bring that little bit of aggression into things as well, and let W7M know that they're going to take the fight to them. They're not going to have it all their own way.
Well, had that main breach opened up now. Always again starts out strong, and it's the ace falling down, which can be a stinger, because really, you're turning towards the ace almost here as you're pushed to them inside a trench. Now, admittedly, Virtus.pro have done a little bit of a helping hand here to W7M. They've got half of trench opened up. One of the north-facing walls is also left soft, but it's all by design because Virtus.pro want to play around this area. So I think they're going to have to try and force them through the main breach here, Tim, and normally a shield operator would be the go-to for a lot of teams looking to make an execute into here work, unless make a push down the main stairs like we saw out of W7M previously.
There is the potential for W7M to reuse that push, as you say. They were quite masterful in their approach to it, and There wasn't really an answer from Virtus.pro, so I hope they've got something in mind for that coming along again, and it just shows the speed of adaptability that's needed from teams that are going to go far in tournaments like the Six Invitational. And it's time to ask the questions as to whether Virtus.pro have got that flexibility to deal with, you know, the attack that beat them last time around on this site.
Admittedly, only the one going down so far. Doesn't feel like the end of the world. A second, as always, is warming into things. Hertz is there for the trade, makes it a second. Suddenly, it's a 3 versus 3. What looked strong for Virtus.pro 5 seconds prior to suddenly crumbles and goes the other way.
Felipox goes down and the diffuser with him. That's going to leave it in no man's land. 2 versus 2. Hertz has managed to collect it and get himself a kill along the way. And he's throwing the diffuser down. He's got KZ on the cover. And who else would you want? Pasha, 1v2 now. He needs to find his first. He can't! Hertz closes it out. And W7M, they level things up and continue to keep this a tight game on Chalet.
The crazy thing.
This is on their own patch, but it's not just about SI. It's not just about this one tournament. It's about an entire year, Des. They've won both of the majors so far. Copenhagen, Atlanta. They could cap off the year taking every single trophy that is available to them. JB92, he gets in and gets an entry onto Always. And W7M look to continue the momentum. The flawless round from Virtus.pro might just have awoken the beast.
Maybe so, and Always especially has had a good start to this match so far. Him being one of the players that you see felled, going to be feeling pretty happy if you're a Brazilian fan right now. Fleetbox at least spotting one up on the upstairs. There's the Oryx and Pasha charging around, looking to have a bit of an impact. Right idea, Nade's got the diffuser outside, so really doesn't want to be going down in this situation. Wouldn't be too surprised to see him not opting to get into a firefight instead, just keeping himself away and safe until his team called. Okay, we're ready to make the move.
Pasha going to be full flashed for the time being. Takes the rotate across Ivy, but is shut down by KZ. W7M in full control of this map, and they could be in danger of returning a flawless round of their own here. Shepard moves back up those solarium stairs to try and get himself back into the fight. Just holding that angle through bathroom, but this is going to be a real tough one to hold on to that top floor now with the numbers stacked against him.
I've seen a couple of people on Twitter just saying it's an absolute delight to watch W7M's attack because the timing of their execution, I mentioned back in map 1, the patience are unrivaled at this tournament. It feels like, I know FaZe wait for them, of course, in the grand final, but as we've already said, it feels like there's something a little bit special brewing in this Sao Paulo-based kitchen. A flawless round to round out what's turning into one hell of a comeback after it looked like BP, was starting pretty strong in the series.
Virtus.pro, I want to see them get into the map quickly, take ground, take control, and ideally get themselves an entry kill or two. W7M, they're going to be hoping that the Roamers can get the job done and can send the message to Virtus.pro that they're going to have a hard time of it. In goes the Twitch drone, so Virtus.pro using that utility. Still 7 drones on side, so plenty of it to hand as well as a few Twitch drones. They can go in there, the EU team, and really get a good picture of what is ahead of them and pick the fights and take them where it's advantageous to them.
Again, it is booming in here. I can barely hear you talk, Tim. It's incredible. Even with the 3-3 scoreline, maybe not the strong start that many would have hoped for W7M. Everyone's still backing them all tooth and nail. Trench really got locked up though by Nade. Of course, worth noting that we're looking towards those razor blooms to do a little bit of damage. And that feels like the kind of thing that you prep for, knowing that Virtus.pro are likely to see a push on that side of the map. And truthfully, they're pretty looking spot on, to be honest. You've got Shepard trying to push his way inside of Solar, a couple of players hanging around Trophy, around Master. You've got Dan inside a bathroom up on that side of the map. It is very much this north side down push. And so you're expecting some kind of pressure to come down West Main in towards Trench. They've read the game perfectly.
KZ going to be picked up by that drone, just hits himself back to mezzanine, but he's not going to give up too much ground. He wants to stick around there and continue to waste time here for Virtus.pro. W7M definitely leaning into that a little bit, making sure that they don't give up too much too soon. KZ not been dealt with yet, and there is an opportunity for him to continue moving, continue making a nuisance of himself.
I've got the Kaid on side, but with the EMP in combo, nothing's going to stop this hatch getting opened up. And it becomes a little bit of a game of chess, I think, with this hatch, Tim. Attacking teams love to make use of it. It's a great cover spot to have, but defenders, or at least should, the good ones, absolutely love retaking it. So keep a close eye on W7M outlines throughout the last 60 seconds of this round. If you see maybe the Wamai or the Thorn go charging around to try and make a retake come through upstairs.
Twitch drawn of always, just a little bit too slow there. He was hoping to get in there, find that electrical and take it out to give an opportunity to open up that wall. There we go. We see at least the long angle now. It is possible with the Thatcher coming down to assist as well. Shepard is working around the other side of Trench, gets the hard breach gadget off, and the pressure can start to mount on W7M here as Dan manages to get an entry onto KZ. 5 versus 4.
You can't see him off towards his right-hand side as well. I think Shepard's really kind of gone unnoticed here. Sorry, I thought he was inside the side, but instead on the back corner of Trench, of course, nearly ran his way all the way through those razor blooms that were ready and waited. The spot here to make the push work. Did actually reinforce it up after making use of this earlier into the round, but have got to make this challenge happen on towards blue. If it doesn't come on through, they simply can't get into the site. But by the looks of it, they're in. He's got a plan. Shallow loads him.
That is a huge risk not being able to move forward. They haven't dealt with the Evil Eyes. It's falling apart a little bit, but they're finding the kills. It's 1v2. 4 seconds left to go after it all shakes down, and Dan has got no chance. He can't get through the barbed wire. He can't get through the fire. And right now, it feels like Virtus Pro are going to have to do just that to win this. They're going to have to run through fire, flames, brick walls, and everything in between. Virtus Pro follow. They find the kills around the team as well. They get themselves involved, and they're supporting. Always doing exactly that, finding himself on 8 as well. He's had a couple of really important double kills that have opened the round up and given Virtus Pro the man advantage that they've needed. Dan, he will start things off as he has so often, going in on the Bravo and hacking those gadgets.
Oh, had to get away from that one. He got shot out.
Didn't get the default.
He got shot out before he could take it over. I think he saw the camera getting chased down the drone, sorry, getting chased down the stairs as well. Eventually he's taken out, sniffed out, removed from the field. Let's come back to what I spoke about in Map 1 team as well. 9 flashbangs in the back pocket of Virtus Pro. The time gone by with you better remind Jaeger on the other side to be forgiven for saying, well, of course, it's to burn through those ADSs and those Remind magnets. Here, I think it's much more to try and overwhelm the defenders, knowing that they're sat behind things like a mirror window, like the Fenrir, like a shield. It's really going to be that battle of attrition between the two sides, I think, in this round.
Dan once again on the hunt, just looking for that utility. The Fenrir FNAT taken over, and that is going to be a big one because it's going to allow access in through this front door should they want it later in the round. They are attacking onto Bar and Gaming. My concern for Virtus Pro on the attack right now is they haven't done anything to disrupt Herds, to disrupt JV92 in Flybread, on Mezzanine, and to force those defenders away from those positions.
Here we go, attempt number 1 coming onto the mirror window. Herds, he looks towards his right, he can save this. Does just about get away with it. I think he was so scared about a play being made off the back of that Selma going onto the wall, and he'd be right to assume so. A lot of teams would use that as a little bit of distraction, a little bit of an attention suck, and make a play. But it simply didn't come on through, but at the very last second, the Selma is removed.
Virtus Pro are in that position now where the only move left to them is to push forward and take the gunfight. JV92 is ready, but no, we see the utility raining in. JV92 had absolutely no chance, as always finds Herds, and it's another one of those big doubles that we've seen him deliver, and it's 5 versus 3 now.
60 seconds to play as well. Virtus Pro have got every right and every opportunity to take this up to map point and career us through to border for our 3rd and final map. Felipox on the swing can find nothing. Pasha deleting him from the server, and Nade and KZ have got to hold on.
It's going to be such a tough job for them now, 2 versus 5, 40 seconds as well. An awful lot of time and pressure that is going to need to be absorbed. Nade is going to have to leave. The wall has been opened. Do they know about him? Yes, they do. Always, once again, Pasha to finish off a flawless round, and Virtus Pro, they move on to map point, and that is the quietest that I've heard the arena so far today. I think really well. They've created no-win situations for the W7M defenders.
Really can't see some chance of getting something there. Fortunate to find out the joystick almost didn't find him either, actually. It wasn't too far away on the left-hand side of these trees, whereas Herds was looking out towards the right. Just keeping Virtus Pro honest and asking questions the longer this game wears on. Still, 2 rounds of a mountain to climb for W7M. It almost feels to me like an exact reverse of what we saw back on Clubhouse, where actually it was W7M who were very dominant in the second half. Here, it's been all Virtus Pro.
How often do we see it as well? A team comes out, steals the other team's map away, and you think it's over, and then there is the reverse. Always going to be sending in the Rotero drones. I think just recognising here, Virtus.pro, how much of an impact that utility had last time around is. I picked up on it, the Vulcan canister, the barbed wire. KZ is going to pick up joystick to kick things off, and that's a great start for W7M. They might lose some of their utility on site, but Virtus.pro pay for it with some manpower.
Sorry, Tim, were you saying something? The crowd were chorus.
I'm quite known for being excitable and loud, but it's difficult to make myself heard over this.
I tell you what, to be cheering your team this much when you're down 6-4 is something quite special. And if that drives you to take this round and maybe the next one, well, it's very close to see who the 6th man on this W7M roster would have been. Working our way in now through Trench, moving fast, or maybe not. Halfway into the round, have got themselves this north side control. Once again, W7M know what to expect. They dealt with it expertly last time around, but always cannot stop finding entry stim.
Always, he manages to get one. Shepard doubles up. JV92 onto Pasha. It's 3 versus 3, 3 versus 2 as the Brazilians fight back. Nid, he manages to take down that key component. Always is gone. There's a minute left on the clock.
Managed to get it back. They didn't manage to get this last time round, Tim. They just have to steer away. I think Shepard knows they haven't got the control they need. There's 60 seconds to play, Tim, but I feel they have to retake upstairs.
Virtus.pro do have time to do that if they want to. 50 seconds. Dan finds JV92, and then he goes to have a look. Hertz has actually pushed away from the hatch, so there is an opportunity for Virtus.pro to get themselves inside the site. Shepard takes it. He will find himself running through the FNAT, but there is no more utility this time. Dan can hold the long angle, and there's an opportunity to get this diffuser down, and that's what Shepard are doing. Virtus.pro, they close out map 2 then, and we are going to border to decide who will get themselves into the grand final.
Because what we saw here from W7M was a lot of counters, and that last round, they're contesting everywhere, super hard. Virtus.pro lose the enter pick. Joystick goes down. What do Virtus.pro decide to do? Something I very rarely see from them. We rush site, and it paid off immensely, right? W7M is a good enough team to take that round to us so close. Had it been against anybody else, I think it would have just been Virtus.pro running away with it. But that was so impressive from Virtus.pro because so much stuff that W7M pulled out and Virtus.pro countered it.
Sometimes as an analyst, you're actually happy that you're wrong. We set the expectations that Virtus.pro on their attack would be able to set up all these executes, but be closer to site. What we actually saw Virtus.pro on their attacks was individuals feeling enabled to make plays. Dan made a huge play on a 2K, always made a huge play on a 2K. That last round, as you say, the decision to just hit site in the 4v5, spot the gap. That's what we expect of teams like G2, like W7M, not of Virtus.pro. And I think that came down from it's do or die time, right? That has to be a strategic decision before the map started saying, we're on it's the last map potentially for us at the 6th Invitational, do or die time, anything you see, go for it.
And all those strats that W7M were pulling out, it felt like all of them were time waste. We saw the first round. I genuinely thought that in the first defense round for W7M, with the Goy on the Maestros, oh, this is gonna run away from W7M. I thought that they had so much control over this game. And then all of the different strats, like double castle barricade into library and into mezzanine, I've never seen that, and I don't expect anyone to play like that. I'm like, okay, this is directly to counter Virtus.pro, and Virtus.pro had keys.
5 seconds remaining.
Going to be ventilation and workshop for round 8 then. Virtus.pro, for me, Des, I feel like they desperately need to hold on to this. When W7M, if they get themselves to 5-3, I feel like they'll be able to smell that grand final. They'll know how close it is. And it's going to be so tough to rip it from their hands at that point. They are going to clutch onto it for dear life. And so I feel like Virtus.pro really need to fight back and get themselves ahead again.
Well, let's think about what we spoke about in the first half for W7M on the defense. It was about that early round aggression. It was disrupting the attackers and taking away some of those tools that are so potent when it comes round to the execute. Really, anyone on this attacking side, you'd love to get offline. Maybe look at the IQ and say, you know what, expendable once the black guys have gone. A similar thing for the Brava, but obviously has those smokes in back pocket. Either way you look at it, any kill feels like a good kill in the early round. For now, Virtus.pro has sat waiting, and wait they shall until Hertz, the Grim Reaper himself, steps up. Decapitates always. 5v4 for the Brazilian side. Are you starting to smell it, Tim?
I think we all held our collective breath then, thinking that Erds was going to walk headlong into a problem, but always couldn't find him. Dan will pick up for Leapox 4 versus 4. There goes Erds as well, and Virtus Pro, they're in sight and fighting back. But KZ, he will get the late trade. 3 versus 3 now, a difficult site to be able to hold on to if you don't have the verticals though. And Pasha and Shepard up above are going to start showing exactly why. Shepard, a fantastic site player, will know every angle from above when it comes to ventilation workshop.
Oh, Joystick's managed to get on the backside as well. I don't think he knows there's a player up above him actually inside of office. JV getting back out onto his balcony here before trying to work his way back through. I think he's dropped actually. This 1v1 could be massive. Joystick can protect this side of the map if he finds JV, but if it happens in reverse, it's absolute disaster for Virtus Pro, and it's Joystick that wins out the 1v1.
And Virtus Pro, they needed that. That really breaks the back of the W7M attack. They're going to have to reposition, they're going to have to move, they're going to have to find a couple of kills. They've got time, and Nade gets a red ping. He goes looking for his man, but Joystick will know that he's being hunted down because that red ping will have told him everything he needed to know. Joystick, he knows where he wants to go and what he wants to do. He finds himself 3 in the round. Will it be a quad? Yes, it will. Joystick looking like he could take on hell with a water pistol, Des.
Bathroom, Tim.
Bathroom and towers will be round 10 as Virtus Pro continue on that slow creep
10 seconds to go.
towards the grand final of the Six Invitational 2024. One thing that I do know for sure is that within the next 6 rounds at the absolute most, we will have another finalist alongside FaZe. That much is for sure. And that is what is on the line for these two teams.
It turns out to be all those rounds, Tim.
A reminder for this team as well, Virtus Pro, this roster was there 2 years ago in Sweden in the final against TSM, and they lost, they were runners-up. And they are so close to having another opportunity.
Like I've been saying, the last dance or third time lucky. Those are the phrases to remember for either of these two teams. W7M moving across to bringing the Monty along. We spoke about this back on map 1 when we first saw it coming out. It does really slow things down, and saw some pretty good success coming out of it. Admittedly, it was interesting to watch teams adapt and change around what they were playing so much. Imagine it's going to be somewhat the same story here. For W7M, though, pace and trying to upset members of Virtus Pro has been a big part of it. A couple of Romans on side, looking at the Alibar, looking at the Solus, and looking potentially towards the Legion here. And then they might find themselves upset with Joystick. Wins some shots onto Herds, and he pays the price. But yet again, Tim, it's a 1-for-1 between the two teams. Just when it feels like someone's getting ahead, there is a snap back to reality where you can barely draw a line between these two.
I can barely watch this through my fingers at the minute, Des. It is becoming so intense between these two teams. Herds is just lurking around waiting room, seeing if he can pick anybody up, but W7M are taking a lot of chip damage along the way. KZ has been hit, Herds below half. Nade is in a position to get this diffuser down, and I don't think there's anything that Virtus Pro can do about it. They've managed to stick it, but kills come in on the retake. Always and Pasha could be pushing them towards a match point opportunity, a series point opportunity, and that will do it. They move on to 6. Virtus Pro take one more step. For sure. Virtus Pro need to look sharp here. They need to be on top of this because any small mistake will be taken advantage of. We're going to have the black eye cameras placed upstairs. That's going to tell us that Virtus Pro are going to look to hold on to that top floor again. It's ventilation workshop. We've seen them defend it already. We've seen them defend it fantastically well. Shepard got a 3 kill. Can he repeat?
I wonder if they read into the lack of hard breach that we've seen. Admittedly, for this site, not really the end of the world, but 6 impact being brought along for Virtus Pro, and you have the option of a C4 at the very least in the mouth is a little bit mental. Nothing in the way of denial upstairs, so even with that information being used upstairs, there's not too much they can do in the way of getting kills, and even now, being impeded by these castle barricades. We'll keep an eye on the ASO, that's one thing I'm watching out for. JV, where those Selmas go, sure, impacts may well look to follow.
Urge just peeking around the corner. I think W7M trying to apply a little bit of caution here, not wanting to lose that opening death. It's happened a few times, and Virtus Pro, with man advantage, have been fantastic at keeping on top of them. They know they need to give themselves the best foot forward in every single round from here on in. Nade is going to be opening up the wall. They're trying to get themselves positioned inside of Office to begin with. That will give them the beachhead to move forward and start pressuring Armory and Archives to get that vertical control. And things are getting, if anything, there's even louder in here in support of W7M.
Feel the thudding in my own chest. It ain't really my heart. That's in the vibrations downstairs, Tim. A nice little cute change from Virtus Pro this round as Shepard on the solo is playing downstairs around Customs and Supply. And instead it's Joystick on the Valkyrie that's running around on the top floor. So a small change from when we saw Herds being the solo roamer out inside that part of the map. There's opened up some options for the side of Virtus Pro here. Mainly feeding in that information, making it quite safe for the plays he'd made by the Valkyrie. Philippox has got the one on main stairs though, wants to try and cut his way through. Little does he know, he's a matter of pixels away from a couple of players there. One on main stairs, one that has tucked in. Almost potentially a kill coming through, always getting away on 25 HP. Last 60 seconds, Tim.
So close for W7M to get that great opener that they needed, but it doesn't happen. And is that going to be the end of this story? Is it going to be so close, but so far? JB92 and Hertz find kills. Joystick gets one back. The diffuser's going down. KZ gives them an opportunity to keep fighting. W7M, they take us to 12, Des.
Jesus wept. That was a cheer like no other. I couldn't hear you say the line, Tim, but I know that you said it. All the way to 12. We wanted to see 3 maps. Do W7M grace us with overtime in what is proving to be one hell of a series for this calendar year? We've seen W7M come in with an Ossa. We've seen them come in with no shields. For the 3rd time attacking this site, we'll see a Monty on side. They big brained the hell out of Virtus Pro last time round with the Ossa. The Monty, I imagine, you can use to a very similar effect, if not arguably more safe. Just feels like even the smallest of mistakes will send W7M home. It's going, Tim. This is it.
Honestly, this is true edge of the seat stuff. This is special, Des. This is one of those moments that you've just got to soak up before the chaos commences. And that's exactly what's going to happen. We've got Philippox on the Monty. He's looking to use that to bully his way into the top of these stairs and begin this march. And the march is going to end in one of 2 places, Des. It's going to have Virtus Pro in the final, or it's going to see W7M push us to overtime. There's only 2 minutes left to decide.
Almost misses the cross. That could have been the moment. I keep saying it, but single kills can be the difference maker or the difference breaker for either team. No one's fell, no one looking to be too aggressive or too risky. Pasha loses a yokai, that is big.
It really is. It's going to just really hamper the ability potentially of Virtus Pro to be able to deny those plants later in the round should it happen. They need to be using the shield here, the W7M, to start pushing forward, to start disrupting Virtus Pro's defense. They get the opening kill. It's JB92. He takes down Dan, and what a big player to take off the board. Out comes the Nitro, and it takes down the Monty. Shepard, Joystick, they find one apiece, and all of a sudden it swings again. 4 versus 3. 3 versus 3.
There's no way JB brings this back. He's on a mission. 2 kills in the round. A 3v3 with 60 seconds to go. Can you write a better script, Tim?
Neither of these teams want to give it up, Des. At the minute, W7M have had to take a little bit of a step back. They're using that time that they've got. Virtus Pro, they are dug deep inside a site. Pasha all the way back at half wall. Joystick playing in CCTV. They're just waiting for their opportunities to mount.
The time, the plan going down, with or without a Monty. But here comes that yokai. We spoke about it so much. He's got the right idea, but they get it through. That's what they need. It's on to a 3. Tim, say the line.
We're going to overtime, Des!
Oh my God! Oh my
The entire arena is on its feet. You can feel the cheers, you can feel the energy pulsating through the floor. This game is turning into everything that we all dreamed of, Des. W7M Because in all those games, in all that time, I can't think of many occasions where my hands have been trembling coming into the final rounds. And right now, that's exactly the situation.
We think of two big games, we look back at it, Tim. Semi-finals in Sweden 2021. Dan Wonk against FaZe, our grand finalist tomorrow. It came down to a 1v1 between Rin and Souls. Souls won, they would go on to win the whole competition. We look back at the Berlin finals. What team is there again? FaZe. They are always present in every story. And these teams are fighting for that right to take them on tomorrow, to lift the hammer. And JV starts out with the entry in our first of 3 potential rounds.
That is a huge opener for W7M. Virtus.pro have just come off the defence, they played well there, and they're looking to continue that momentum, but W7M, having picked up those 2 back-to-back rounds, they say, you know what, we've got some more in us on the attack.
Another countdown for W7M. A countdown to their demise, or Virtus.pro's. In we march, a repeat of the last round. The Monty this time I can't see going down to a C4 team.
No, it's looking like a very similar push this time. Of course, W7M had to mix it up a little bit after they lost the shield. This time, they're going to be aware, they're going to be ready for that Nitro. There is Nitros on the side of Virtus.pro, 2 of them, Shepard and Dan. And I just wonder if they're planning on doubling up. One comes out, JV92. He's grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck and saying, not today. Not today.
JV had that exact same angle last time round, but no C4 came. The discipline to acknowledge that might change the very next round. Give yourself a pat on the back, son. That's the one you want to see. Easy. Pixels! Pixels! Seize the man! Shepard lives.
Need to find themselves another kill here. They know there's one inside of CCTV. It's Joystick trying to hold on to that location. Dan is actually on a bit of a flank underneath. JV92, he's managed to get himself downed as well. That's not ideal. It levels us up. He's going to get picked up. Nate taking a lot of damage. Time becoming a factor. Dan in a battle underneath. It's going on everywhere. But Hurts, he manages to find Shepard before being downed himself. 5 versus 3 now.
At least 4v3, make it 3v3. 2 players are down, Tim. It looks okay at face value, but if they can't recover either of those 2 players, it's over. And Dan, with a run out, they've made it on top, Tim. A 3K for Joystick. What the hell are these rounds?
Virtus.pro, they might just be able to drag this over the line.
Oh,
they get themselves the quad. It's Joystick again. Here we've already seen him have the 4K. Can he finish it off this time, Des? Can he find the ace? Nade is low health. He's pushing around.
No!
He goes for the challenge, and what better time? Joystick picks up all 5, Des.
We're on to that point, Tim. All it needs is one more round, once again.
The nerve to hit an ace in overtime,
How
match
dare
3
he?
of an SI semi-final. I don't know where you find that kind of composure to fight in that sort of spot. He was pinned down inside a CCTV, Joystick, and he's just taken the round on his back and said, we're doing this. Joystick, he wants to go back to an SI final.
Doesn't he just? Keep on telling the story. Denied twice. Once by G2, one by TSM. They make it to tomorrow, they could still yet be denied by a Brazilian team, Tim, that have completed the full ring around then. APAC, the last region to get in their way. But it's all going to come down to how this game ends first. That story could be for Toffee. We don't see them win here and now. Philippox on that clash, a great way of slowing down Virtus.pro even further. We've seen slowing up with slow, and it's been effective for the side of W7M. I just worry that on this map, with how aggressive it can be, how gunfight driven the outcomes can turn out to be, that it might not quite be enough. Nade ready with a C4 inside of office. Knows that Dan is out there, but not yet able to find his man.
This site was defended twice by W7M in the first half of things. They won it once, they lost it once. There's absolutely no stats that we can bring you realistically that are going to give us any idea of which way this one goes. The pressure is going to start mounting on site. Nade with Nitro in hand. He's knowing that he doesn't have a target to throw it at just yet. He's going to put it back in pocket. He's going to hold on to it and try to find that devastation later in the round.
Slow and tentative is the way you describe maybe the last 2 or 3 rounds that we've seen. Both teams nervous to make a single error because they know it will be what books their flight ticket home. Admittedly for W7M, home is not far away. For Virtus.pro, it's halfway around the world. Office being opened up there, step through coming in. Stop, man. I'm gonna have a heart attack before before this series is out. Herds onto the entry. Dan taken offline.
Empire just stalling out a little bit here. They still have time.
They may as well be, Tim.
Virtus Pro stalling out a little bit. They're just struggling to get themselves established inside of the building. KZ just again in that spot that we saw Joystick so effective from last time around. Can't quite dislodge him,
40.
can't quite have the impact that they need on him. The clash starts coming forward, and as the seconds tick by, that shield becomes more and more important. JB92 with kill after kill after kill. Herds, he finds one. 4 versus 1 now, and there's we're going all the way to 15! I love it!
What conclusion could you script that does not look like this? Tears in the crowd, tears on the desk may well follow.
I think I'll have some tears before this is done. Oh.
Jesus Christ. This place will erupt if W7M can get this over the line here and now. The deciding battleground will be Vents and Workshop.
10 seconds
And at
left.
all times, to bring out the old faithful of Doc, it's now for Dan.
5 seconds remaining.
No shields, no shenanigans.
Attackers are heading
Straight
out
up
to defuse the
siege
bomb.
to decide the conclusion of this unbelievable series.
Going to be ventilation and Workshop, the site where it will all be decided. Virtus Pro, they're the ones who have to hold on. They're on the defense. They just have to wait and see for the time being.
I tell you what, you want a nerve-wracking 3 minutes as the defenders? This is it.
That's it, they just have to wait and see what W7M brings to the table. There's nothing else realistically that they can do. Joystick, we saw him hold on to this position last time so well. And it's no surprise to see him in CCTV again. JB92, he's done so much for his team, Des. He's done so much for W7M to keep them in this. It looks like he might be the one to go and clash with Joystick.
Said it across the last couple of rounds, but everything's felt that little bit more tentative. Teams so afraid of making a mistake that can cost their team that spot in the grand final. Dan, guess what? Juice himself straight back up. Always in a similar position, a little bit healthier here. Herds, he's been such a player on these live stages. But here on East Main, he's being fed nothing. Always was looking for a backstab, but himself probably very aware that it's all too easy for W7M to get the pinch on him.
Pasha just hitting the deck, trying to keep himself safe again, just trying to keep map control here, Virtus Pro. They're keeping W7M at the boundaries. It's Border, don't let the attackers in. Herds, he manages to find the first onto Always. The crowd erupts, but Dan levels it off. JB92, KZ, no greater tale can be told, Des, than hometown heroes that are looking to secure their last dance with destiny. W7M, they continue to push, they continue to see, and they charge into the finals of Six Invitational 2024.
I am out of words. There is nothing that can take away what a victory this is for W7M. The record keeps spinning. The dance continues for their showdown against FaZe live here tomorrow in front of 9,000 people to establish a new dynasty in Rainbow Six Siege.
They've really shown us today, Des, that they've got the nerve, they've got the bottle, and they can do it when it really counts. When their back is against the wall, W7M, they push back and they get the job done. All the way to the grand final for a showdown with FaZe here tomorrow in Sao Paulo.
Your hearts have got to go out to Virtus Pro for a moment too. They say that all empires that rise must fall, but this is only the beginning for this Reforged roster. We can expect big things from them across the rest of this year, but today, tonight and tomorrow, it's that Brazilian love story that one of these two teams, FaZe or W7M, must be the dreamers of.
players. You've got to take a second to breathe in and appreciate the emotion within the team, within the arena. It means so much to so many, Des.
And as we said, this is heartbreaking for Virtus.pro. The last non-Brazilian team to find themselves heading home here at 6 Invitational. A rocky couple of years they've had with roster changes and org changes, and for a time, this Team Empire core not being on a roster, not being seen in Tier 1. It was crazy. They finished second at SI, dropped by the org and have fought their way back. And to be finishing third at an event of this caliber so soon, I think speaks volumes about what they can still achieve.
So much respect being shown between these two teams as well. Those 10 players.
That border was just a mess. It was like a heavyweight boxing match where it's just blow for blow, and you just don't know how these two teams are winning these rounds and hitting each other so hard.
You know, both of these teams, they pulled out so many different playstyles, so many different strategies. We saw Clash, we saw Monty from W7M when they couldn't figure out what to do against Virtus.pro. Both of these teams, I mean, you and me, Jack, we have been blessed with the absolute best games so far throughout the tournament. And somehow, we go even further and we get this game. Wow. Just, wow.
That was the big storyline, right? Was that Virtus.pro looked in control. Obviously, they got to 6-4, but how did they get to 6-4? It was because W7M really started feeling that pressure, right?
Yeah.
We were seeing Philippe Box had one of the biggest whiffs he's ever had. You saw the disdain on his face. There were shots being missed, gunfights being lost that you should just not expect W7M to lose in any day of the week. And then they have to re-find themselves within the round.
And had that been against G2, those kills would have been straight in the bag. Because against G2, they had to fight for the win. Here, they felt like they had something to lose. This is the first time they felt like, okay, it's so close. We have to put it back. And I mean, the mental resilience that both of the teams